letting go, what it really means, and how to actually do it. They say, just let it go. But what does that even mean? When your plans fall apart, when people disappoint you, when life doesn't play fair, how exactly do you let go without feeling like you're giving up? This video breaks down what letting go really means, the deep psychology of why we hold on, and a clear step-by-step process to help you finally release what's been holding you back. Part 1, what letting go really means. Letting go is one of those things everyone talks about but few understand. First, let's be clear about what it's not. Letting go is not pretending something didn't happen. It's not becoming numb. It's not weakness, laziness, or passivity. And it's definitely not about giving up on things you care about. So what is letting go? Letting go means releasing your emotional grip on something you can't control. It means no longer being mentally or emotionally stuck on a person, outcome, or belief. It's about accepting reality as it is, rather than fighting it. Here's a way to picture it. Imagine you're carrying a heavy bag full of regrets, expectations, fear, and people's opinions. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what's weighing you down, so you can finally move forward with clarity and strength. Part 2, the deep psychology of why we hold on. We don't hold on because we're weak. We hold on because at some level our brain thinks it's protecting us. Here are 6 key psychological forces that explain why we suffer and struggle to let go. 1. Fear of uncertainty. Your brain is wired for survival, not peace. It wants predictability. So even if something is painful, if it's familiar, it feels safer than the unknown. 2. Attachment conditioning. If love or safety in your early life was inconsistent, you may have learned to cling to people or outcomes as a survival strategy. Letting go can feel like abandonment, even if the thing you're holding on to is harmful. 3. Identity fusion. We often tie our identity to roles, outcomes, or people. So when we lose them, it feels like we are lost. Letting go threatens our sense of self. 4. Loss aversion and sunk cost fallacy. We fear loss more than we value gain. So we keep investing time, energy, or emotion into something because walking away would mean admitting it's over. 5. Intermittent reward loops. Sometimes we get just enough reward to keep going. A message from someone toxic, a brief success, like a slot machine hit. These unpredictable highs are addictive and hard to let go of. 6. Unprocessed emotion and trauma memory. Pain that hasn't been fully felt or processed doesn't disappear. It gets stored. Letting go often means finally facing that pain, which the brain avoids at all costs. So here's the truth. We hold on because our mind thinks it's protecting us from something worse, uncertainty, loss, shame, or fear. But in doing so, it traps us in suffering. Letting go becomes possible once we see this pattern for what it is, and once we learn how to interrupt it. Part 3, how to actually let go step by step. Here's a 5-step process that makes letting go practical and real, not just a vague idea. Step 1, name what you're holding on to. Ask yourself, what am I gripping so tightly right now? Is it a person, a version of the past, a future outcome, an identity? Naming it creates awareness, and awareness is the first form of power. Step 2, accept that you cannot control it. Say to yourself, this is happening. I don't have to like it, but I accept that I can't control it. This isn't about giving up. It's about stopping the internal war, because fighting reality never changes it. It only exhausts you. Step 3, feel the emotion without resisting it. Letting go doesn't mean pushing the emotion away. It means letting it move through you. Cry, write, scream into a pillow, breathe. Do whatever you need to do to allow the emotion to be seen, heard, and released. Because suppressed emotion doesn't disappear. It stores itself as stress, anxiety, and eventually illness. Step 4, shift focus to what you can control. You may not control the outcome, but you do control your response. Ask, what do I have the power to influence right now? Is it your breath, your thoughts, a small action, a boundary? Letting go is less about release and more about refocusing. Step 5, ritualize the release. Sometimes the brain needs a symbolic act to register the shift. Try one of these. Write a letter to the person or situation. Don't send it. Then tear it up or burn it. Go for a walk and imagine releasing the thought with every step. Sit in silence and breathe. Inhale, I accept. Exhale, I release. These are not magic tricks. They are ways to create mental closure and train your nervous system to loosen its grip. Part 4, What Letting Go Gives You. Here's what no one tells you. When you let go, you don't lose power. You finally get it back. You become lighter. You stop being dragged by what you can't change. You create space for clarity, peace, and better choices. You stop reacting and start responding. You realize letting go isn't forgetting. It isn't losing. It's choosing yourself over chaos. Try this. Today, write down one thing you're tightly holding on to. Then apply the 5 steps. Just one layer, just one moment. You don't have to master letting go today, but every time you soften your grip, you shift the direction of your life. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the beginning of real peace and real strength.